Good evening and welcome to Jack Dodsons Racing Insider News with the legend Scott Allen.
I'm glad you got that right.
Got a busy week this past week. A lot of stuff was going on. But we'll talk about the race. We'll talk about the Talladega race in a little bit.
Yeah, all right is in the world. Dale Jr. won this weekend.
And everybody is happy. I mean, I've never seen...
They gave it to him. Everybody... I've heard that so much today. That, you know, on Sirius, we hear the people talking about, well, I don't know why they didn't pull out. If they could have, they would have. A few people tried it.
And went backwards.
They went backwards. And it was funny, I heard some guy, they were mad at Casey Mears for not falling in behind Denny and somebody else to try to make the bottom work. I'm like, I don't quite blame him, because when they went down there, that was 2 spots to him. He just gained 2 spots and he ain't got to do anything.
You got to look at the big picture for those guys, because you know, they're thinking the possibilities that, of course, then again, a super speedway is one of those places where those guys could possibly get a win.
Well, possibly get a win, and I forget who we were talking to last week when they talk about at these big tracks when the manufacturers kind of do step in and say, hey, make sure you work with your team manufacturer, even though they're not teammates, but don't be going and helping a Toyota or Ford or whatever to a win when you're driving a Chevrolet. And Casey's in a Chevrolet, and Denny Hamlin was a Toyota. I can't remember who went out with Denny, who pulled out with Denny. But it might have been Carl. So I mean, he'd have gotten a little bit of heat by pushing those guys to the win by a bunch of Chevrolets.
Well, true, but at the end of that race, it's everybody for himself, and I think that, and if you watch the Xfinity race the day before,
it was crazy finish.
That was unbelievable too. And I thought, you know, there was, even though I think they broke off it a little bit in the turns, but it looked like they were pretty much pushing each other all the way around that track for a while.
Well, they try until NASCAR warns them, and it was a great race. They had a lot of good guys. They had some good finishes. Some guys that were good. You know, our buddy JJ that we had on the show the other week finished 4th in the nationwide or Xfinity race on Saturday. Joey Gase
with
and you know, did you see the pre-race interview they had with him?
Yes.
I mean, I did not know that about his mother, and that was a great interview. And what a perfect for him to run well in the race. And Jimmy Means, I mean, a lot of people, I don't know if, you know, probably people
don't remember Jimmy Means.
Right. And people don't realize that's Dale Jr.'s favorite driver.
Yeah. I remember, was it the year Trevor Bayne won the Daytona 500?
Mm-hmm.
The nationwide race before that on Saturday, whoever was driving Jimmy Means' car crashed in practice. And they were pretty much done. They were loading the car. I was there. I was in the garage because Phoenix had a nationwide car that week too, and Lee was crew chief in that car for that week. And they were like 5 or 6 stalls down. And they were pretty much dejected, going home. And all of a sudden, I see Dale Jr. come around the corner. And he goes to Jimmy Means. Next thing I know, they're rolling one of his backup cars off the trailer, give it to Jimmy Means, and let them run the race. That's unbelievable. I mean, that's one of his...
as you know, because you've been in the sport as I have, that I don't think people realize how much some of the big stars give to Morgan Shepherd, Jimmy Means, and help those guys out. Because believe it or not, those cars that Jimmy Means probably has, was probably 10 years old.
Yes.
I mean, those guys are way outdated. They're super underfunded. They're just making a living. I think Joey said this morning, they were talking to him this morning, that they have 6 full-time crew members, and that was including him. And Jimmy. Jimmy's been around for, I don't know how old Jimmy is. Jimmy's got to be in his mid-60s.
At least in his mid-60s.
And probably one of the nicest guys in the garage. And if you went over there and needed something, he would give it to you if he had it.
He is. I mean, he's from the old school. It's the old school.
What was the old 52 Cup car? Advil? No,
I know what you're
Alka-Seltzer?
Alka-Seltzer.
It was kind of famous there for a while, and Dale Jr. That was Dale Jr.'s driver as a kid, because he was the guy that, you know, worked on his own stuff, drove to the racetrack, and I just thought it was so good to see him have a good finish. And
those guys were. I mean, I know they had to. We wasn't there, but I know they had to be ecstatic to be in that position. To be a fifth to them is a win.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's almost like a championship.
So I was really.
And then, I don't know if you noticed in some of the pictures, Jimmy took a picture of it. Jimmy's been around so long and so well liked that they had turned all the cars off on the pylon and just put 52 up in the fifth place thing to sort of honor him. And that was pretty cool that enough people think that much of Jimmy. And I can't imagine that his phone is probably rang and off the hook.
I'm sure it has.
And don't count J.J. Yaley out because their team is kind of in the same boat. I would say you probably have a little bit better equipment, but those two guys kind of hooked up and they stayed together. He said if it weren't for Joey sticking with him, they probably wouldn't have finished. And he said he don't know how they made it because I think they got 10 cars between turn 4 and the flag stand.
It was an unbelievable way they finished that race.
He said I think on the white flag lap they were about 20th, and somehow the seas just parted and these guys coming through there.
I don't know where you got it in front of you where Benny Gordon finished. Benny Gordon was
13th.
Benny Gordon, it was his first race this year. He just bought that car, well, it's a whole team. He bought the whole fleet of cars.
What team was
that? That was Tanner Berryhill's old cars.
Okay.
He bought the whole thing. That's his first race, and he comes out and finishes 13th.
Yeah, I don't think he's run a whole season anymore.
No.
Yeah.
He's been a crew chief on the JGL cars.
Okay, I didn't know that.
And then he went out and got his own cars this year when Berryhill went out. Mm-hmm. And he bought the whole group, and that's unbelievable.
They got a lot of good guys. I mean, I can't say enough for Chris Buescher in the Nationwide, and what he's done in the Cup Series with little or no equipment. He's far exceeded what the car could do. I mean, you got to give it to that kid, and I'm surprised that they're taking him out of that 34 car. In my opinion,
and how impressive again this week, Matt DiBenedetto in the Cup car.
Our buddies over at BK Racing. JJ ended up 14th. Matt ended up 18th. That's almost a win to those guys.
Oh, it is a win to them. And they were not, first of all, they were not expecting JJ to be that good during the race. He managed to find the right place at the right time in the draft. Matt was doing exceptionally well in the draft from what I've heard.
Yeah.
But they beat guys like Jeff Gordon. I mean,
a lot of guys. I mean, they finished in front of Eric Almirola, the 43 car. Alex Bowman. I mean, I don't know. They've got decent equipment. I don't think they have a lot of sponsors. AJ Allmendinger, Tony Stewart, David Gilliland. I mean, and David knows this restrictor plate racing. Those guys, he's run well at restrictor plate races.
And Tony ran pretty good in the race Sunday.
He did. I don't think if he gotten that deal at the end.
But let's go back. You mentioned Alex Bowman in the 7 car.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of rumors. A lot of things are fluctuating back and forth about
Tommy Baldwin
and BK Racing merging. Evidently, that is getting very, very close. Kevin Bono Mannion today is now with Richard Petty Motorsports as the crew chief on Hornish's car. From what I understand, and I know one guy there at Richard Petty Motorsports, and that's all I know. And I'm not going to say he knows the whole story, but it looks like it's pretty close to what he was telling me that was going to happen with all this going on.
And I think that's probably a good move for both teams. Because I know Tommy's got to be very proud of what he's accomplished and what he's done with nothing. And I really thought last year with a couple cars, he had some good sponsors throughout the year. I thought he was really sort of over the hump. But with the Michael Annette leaving and taking his sponsor elsewhere, I'm sure that's really hurt him. But I think Tommy Baldwin would be a great
and they got him, supposedly he's going to become the team manager at BK when all this is said.
It'd be a great asset to any team. I mean, Tommy's been around a long time, and they've done pretty well with an underfunded team. And he's had a lot of help.
I'm going to get a hold of Jeff Kirkendall in the next week or so. We're going to get him on here. I'll find out what's going on with him.
You think he'll tell us?
But let's talk about something else that's really, really big right now in NASCAR, and I heard it from my son when I talked to him. I've heard it from 2 or 3 other guys, these fires on pit road.
I know. What about they taking the guy off pit road your buddy, I guess.
Yeah.
For not having his helmet and his mask or his cape on. That shocked me.
Well, the thing about it is now they're saying they even want the guys who are catching the catch cans coming back across the wall after they fuel the car. The empty catch cans, they want them in full suit. Lee's been catching catch cans for all this year. So I guess he's going to have to go into
He's going to be suited up.
He's going to have to be suited up. But Mark O'Donnell, better known as Don Johnson, and I ain't going to go into that story, but was escorted out of Talladega because he didn't have the proper equipment. NASCAR's taking it really serious about these fires. And by the way, I talked via Facebook message to Anthony O'Brien, and he's doing better. He's going to be out for a while. It's going to be a little while before he gets back.
Well, it's good to hear he's doing.
But he's out. He's back in Carolina now. So
glad to see it. And I don't think they really know what started that fire yet either.
Well, no, they don't. I don't think they have an official saying of what it is.
Right.
I've heard 2 or 3 different things, but regardless of what it is, I'm glad to see NASCAR's taking it serious and saying, look, we're gonna change some of this stuff.
Yeah, honestly, I'm surprised it hasn't happened more than it has. To be honest with you.
And I was sitting at home Sunday when I heard this happen. We had just come back home, and I was sitting at home and I was thinking, the last time I remember a big fire on pit road that somebody got really hurt was Barry Dodson's friend.
Well, that wasn't a fire.
It blew into a fire back behind the thing.
I thought the compression tank blew up.
Well, but there was a fire involved in it. And
okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but I can't think of anybody else.
And he didn't survive.
No, he did not survive. And I can't even remember his name.
What you call his father?
Trent Owens'
father.
Randy Owens. Randy Owens.
Right, correct. And that's actually Petty's nephew.
Right, it's Linda Petty's nephew. Yeah,
but or brother.
Yeah, brother. You're right, brother. So I'm glad to see NASCAR's taking it serious. Anyway, we're gonna have our first guest.
I think Pepsi for our drink.
Yeah. Hello, Matt.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm not doing too bad. Riding all over the country.
Are you off work now and ready to go?
Yeah, I'm actually I rode down to Starr today, and now I'm going to ride over and get some family in down to Indiana. So I'm still driving around.
Oh, okay. Well, joining us now on the show is Matt Waltz. And Matt, what all have you got going on this year? Are you running just one place, or are you running all over the place?
I've raced at I guess 3 different racetracks, 3 different races this year so far. I guess I'm gonna make my 4th one next weekend. Not this coming weekend. We're scheduled to race the 16th at Langley. And we've been racing the car for Randy Sears and his 34 CSN and Grandma Ford. And we raced the first 2 races that we got a national and West County. And we just really looking for some speed in these cars. And after that we raced and that was my car. I see one that I want it. It's my car. I won all the races at Langley for the past 2 years. Just had 8 number on it.
All right, now, so are you going to be going with the car series down to Hickory this weekend?
I think we will. It's not looking like it right now.
Oh, okay. So you'll be at Langley next week, this weekend
Next weekend.
Next weekend when they race.
We'll be down on the 16th.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna make it this weekend.
So tell us a little bit about the Denny Hamlin race. I just watched the Denny Hamlin race yesterday. Believe it or not. And
we ended up getting a bit behind in qualifying. The 03 Spring Queen ended up breaking a track bar down, I believe, in qualifying on a third or fourth lap, and it really kind of, that seemed to be the best lap for most people. So that ended us there, and it ended up qualifying at 14th, I believe. So we did that and started, I guess, that's sort of, what's the fifth? I think it was fifth race, second race, went up 54, passed one there, and then started the race, and immediately, I guess, we lost 2 spots at the beginning of the race at the first course, so they went through that, until our first caution, ended up dropping back to 13th, but once we got going there, we had a really good start, and I thought, I'm going into after practice and everything, that the car seemed to be really good on long run, but the crew to do what the race got going, that pass. Went from 13th to 5th after we got going, past big car and waiting, my hands chased away on the outside, and really looking to have a good run, and so we had a caution. I'm not sure what the lap count was there. It was probably lap 60 or so, and then we had a caution, and just ended up getting tangled up with the number 23 car. And that put us out of the race tonight. So.
What was it like to be up there at South Boston and mixing it up with Denny Hamlin and David Reagan and Timothy Peters and all those guys? What was it like to be able to do that? Now, I'm sure you've done that. I know you've been to Martinsville. I'm sure to race that race, and you've been around those guys. But what was it like to mix it up with them up there?
Well, it's really cool to get those guys, especially when you beat them out long, pass on the outside, whatever. I was very, very confident that you need to do it. But I always got confidence in myself. But, we did that last year as well. Last year, we settled the pole at 195 laps of the race. And, I kind of hoping to get back up there and kind of redeem myself this year, but it didn't play out that way. So, but anytime you can get the race against those guys, race side by side, and especially with anyone like in my team who's trying to make a name for themselves in the sport, it really gives you something special, they want some race against this guy, I'm not running this guy, and this team, so it's kind of cool that it's cool to race against them, because they are the big team guys, and I guess overall it's just a really good experience, and having those guys come into South Boston to race, it really brings that NASCAR, the national series community, and down to our level, and they'll get to kind of mix it up together. So it's just a really good experience all together that we have put on today, and welcome all the guys there with the foundation. And I'm glad it's been going on for quite a while now. 7 years or so. It's just a really good experience.
Now you won the Denny Hamlin Showdown last year?
No, I did. We put on tires when I took me to go when the car got tight, and Matt Bowman was able to hang out with me, and he was able to get under me with a couple of steps, and I finished with that.
But still, I mean, that's got to be a big, showing for you in front of, a big audience, a lot of people. Did people call you after that and have any interest? I mean, did that help you in any way like that?
I didn't really get any calls from anybody who did. I talked to multiple people about it, and a lot of people have seen it. And also I talked to people kind of help some us a little bit, and for the racing on YouTube,
do you have any plans to like try to do some truck races or some Xfinity races?
Yeah, I'm kind of got a lot of kind of trouble right now in the series, and then it just comes down to $1 million. You know, I think that's what's happening on that right now, and it's kind of tough, you know. The race teams want somebody with money with sponsors, you really got to have a plan to what you're going to do. So, it's somebody like my team that's trying to put something together, and it's, you know, like I said, it makes it tough, you know, trying to work double both things and really bring the team together. You know, it's tough to do.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and you've done well. I mean, besides that coming down pit road at the Hampton Heat last year.
Yeah.
That had been a tough one, but I tell you, man, it was exciting to watch you two guys try to come back, and that was a deep, deep field. I was surprised Bill started all those cars, which I'm glad he did, but there was a lot of cars, and that was a big event. I mean, I know you were there, but man, I mean, they were asking us to bring our cars out of the parking lot into the garage, you know, into the pits, because people were parking at the 7-Eleven to come see that race, and I mean, that was a huge, huge event.
Yeah, it was really good for Langley. He really brought a bunch of people in. You know, I hated to call in the middle of the race. I don't think it was really a bad call. I mean, the pace car wasn't out. It would have been short. The pace car was out, so we ran that race test for 3 laps before anything happened. So Nick pulled in, and you know, I assumed that we could go in. But
Hey, Mark Martin's done it once, so I mean, you can't feel so bad.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely does. You know, that's.
Now, do you
to kind of give that away like that one, you know, the winner took it the first half with the really good.
Yeah, I mean,
winning big races before the game.
Yeah, it was fun to watch you and Nick racing hard there before the halfway.
Yeah.
I mean, it was super fun to watch that race. I mean, you guys put on a good show. It was a shame what happened, but I mean, that's water under the bridge. Now, have you not really ever focused on running at one racetrack and like winning a championship? Because I mean, dude, every time you came to Langley, you ran extremely well. Besides, you know, I mean, you're like the only one that can dethrone Greg. It seems like.
Yeah. But last year ran the whole season at Langley. But you know, I kind of got to branch out, and I've enjoyed being around some this year, and it really just gives me the opportunity to learn a little more about the car, about what as a driver, if you see different race tracks, if you feel different things, the one place, what the car likes, you know, in certain situations, certain style race tracks, so having to go on, you know, I raced Southern National, and then I raced another race in Southern National when I Renfro was a limited division at Southern National, and he given someone a kidney and was feeling poor, so I ended up racing the second race for him. And, you know, it's just being able to do all that different racing and then going to Orange County back to South Boston. I've been out to Langley twice. I mean, I feel like it helps me as a driver. So I really like that part. But as far as just going after the track championship right there, you know, it's not something I'm too interested in. You know, I'd rather be doing what I'm doing and get some experience, but definitely want to keep, you know, trying to make sure we get good chances out of it. You know, I was happy we ran so well on the Hamlin race with my, with my car, and then, so I'm excited to get that car back out on the track and be competitive.
Now, who helps you with the car? I mean, who does a lot of the setup stuff? Is that just you and your brother that kind of does all that?
Yeah, I work on the car all day, you know. I kind of joke, I mean, all day, all night. And I get a little bit of help from some of the guys. And then especially kind of before race time, you know, I'll try to get most of them in there. But had pretty much a one-man operation to start out we was right now. And I'm also selling Dutchy and Old Dominion University graduate, with my degree. I'm pretty much, welder, anything. I obviously have support from Jamie Jones, JP Performance, and Chris Motorsports, Holly sells a lot of parts, pieces, thanks, race stations, so many, but as far as maintaining the car, set up, all that is pretty much me.
Now, how'd you get hooked up with Jamie Jones?
It's kind of a funny story. My mom went to high school with his wife, so they got him down on Facebook, and they just kind of been talking to him ever since.
I mean, I think most people that's kind of been around Langley for a long time know who Jamie Jones is. Obviously, a lot of people today, or the young crowd, like yourself, probably don't know who Jamie is. And Jamie won a national championship with Elton Sawyer, and is done well up in the Nationwide and Xfinity Series, either way you want to look at it. Not sure exactly what he's doing a lot now. Worked for Mitch Sarvis for years over at Mitch's Brake and Muffler. But Jamie's a good guy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He's a little bit of a talker. He's a little bit of a talker.
We definitely like having him part. When he came to South Boston with us last week, big part of our team.
Well, I gotta say that you working on the car, I've gained some respect for you working on the car, setting it up yourself, where a lot of people come in and spend a lot of money and just hire people that's done well and just, I don't want to say they're buying information, where you've kind of worked your way and earned it. And I respect you for that. Not everybody, I mean, if somebody would be willing to set my stuff up, I would take it, I would take it too. But that adds a lot of, to you, I think it adds to your character and to your ability.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. And it's kind of pride myself on, I kind of just like my life's work, basically. All of it is work on race cars, and it definitely separates me from some other guys. There's a lot of kids now that come in, a lot of just come in and he strikes a $10,000 check a race, even for the late model stuff, and we don't, obviously don't even come close to that kind of budget. So to be able to do what we do with what we have, I work out of a 30 by 30 shop, and still throughout last year won 12 out of 22 of the races, and have some of the finishes that we have, it's definitely proud of that.
Absolutely.
Well, Matt, we appreciate your time tonight. We're going to let you get back on the road and get to riding around and doing what you need to do.
So thank your sponsors.
Yeah, please thank your sponsors, and we'll get back with you again soon.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I got to thank definitely Mom and Dad Waltz for good sales, because Randy, Peter, Sand, and Gravel for all they do, and Gabcon Incorporated, Phil Ford for carrying the law, Frank Motorsports, Good Banks Racing, and JP Sports, and all the crew and everybody involved, and all the fans as well. I definitely couldn't do it without them, but definitely listening to the show tonight. Thank you all, and hope everybody has a good night.
All right, well, we'll see you out at Langley in a couple weeks, hopefully.
Okay, thanks. Sounds good. We'll see you then.
All right, man. Take it easy. We appreciate your time.
Okay, yes, thank you.
I tell you, if somebody is looking for an up-and-coming guy, I think Matt is one of those guys that could fill a seat and probably do well. And I didn't realize he was doing all the setup and the work. And I know he does some different things than about anybody else does over there, and it's worked for him, and I respect him for that. Like I said, I think I gained some. Not that the boy couldn't drive him. Obviously, he can drive, but I think his ability to work on the car and set it up, which I guess he was saying he's got an engineering degree. and drive it just adds to his ability.
And to be able to run with Greg and them guys on a weekly basis like he did. And
he was the only one that really could compete with them. I mean, Greg's got Langley locked down here the last few years besides CE Falk. And you know, you're not to take anything away from CE. He's done well. He's won a lot of races all over.
Yeah.
But for somebody like Greg is running against money, and money buys speed. That's, I mean, they've got, and like I said, I'm not trying to take anything away from CE, but they had a lot of good help. They have a lot of resources, and he did very well, and he made a huge, very big name for himself. And I'm really surprised nobody really give him a chance, but I think sometimes when you've had some resources, it hinders you sometimes trying to get a ride.
It really does. I think with him, he's had the opportunities in other places, and they saw him there, and then I think they just kind of.
Well, I think, his uncle's got a cup team, and they had some trucks there for a while, and he ran a couple truck races that, well, he's got a ride. So they don't give him the opportunity. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. It's good in some ways, and in some other ways it's bad. Yeah. But, I mean, give it to Matt. I mean, he's done a great job, and Sears over there, those guys have got some fast race cars. And I'm sure he's probably kind of incorporating his setup type stuff that he's been running in their stuff. And it's probably a little different because they kind of got Greg's been driving for those guys the last couple of years.
I was thinking he'd probably go down to Hickory this weekend. That was one of the things I was going to bring up, too. Hickory has a big cars race this weekend, cars tour race. And Chase Elliott is going to drive in the cars race. He says he wants to.
Well, he's running no. Is he running Hickory a lot? No.
No, he's not running Hickory a lot. I think he said this is like the second or third time he's ever been at Hickory. So.
It's a little bouldering.
So he says he still wants to drive a late model. He wants to drive other things once in a while too. He says because seat time is seat time, and he wants that opportunity. And
he's a nice, good kid.
And he knows he's going to have. I think he's going to have a lot of pressure next year.
Yeah, he's got a lot on his shoulders.
And I think it's going to be hard.
So far, he's handling it well. I would say it doesn't look like the pressure is getting to him, and I don't think it doesn't seem like he's got a lot of pressure on him.
Yeah,
I mean, I would probably be like, oh my God, what am I? I hope this works out. Or
did you notice that beginning of last week or middle of last week, GoDaddy has pulled their sponsorship.
Yeah.
And I believe I said that one time not too long ago that was going to happen.
Well, I think we kind of knew that. I knew that the owner wasn't, that company went public. So, the guy who started it doesn't own it anymore. It's kind of sold off, and he's not in charge anymore. He was the one that was kind of high on Danica Patrick. So, this is going to be one of those chips that we were kind of hearing some rumblings about. Maybe she's not going to be at Stewart Haas next year. It's kind of curious how it's all going to unfold. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, I think that, from what I hear, that's the first step the first
domino.
Yeah, the first domino that fell.
Yeah,
in that group. So we'll see what happens because it's a possible.
I mean, she should be able to find some sponsorship. It may not be as big as GoDaddy because GoDaddy has footed a big bill because she has a big name.
You won't get. I don't think you'll get the kind of money GoDaddy put into it.
Right.
But it's going to be. I still say there's going to be a place for her in the sport somewhere.
Absolutely, somebody will put her in a car.
So it's going to be interesting to see how that works out.
If I had to say, I think the only place that she's really going to be able to go because everywhere is full is going to be Roush.
Yeah.
Or Michael.
I saw a thing the other day about places where she could land. And everywhere they put that she could land, there seems to be a little bit of a problem there. One of the places is Michael Waltrip.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if she doesn't have a sponsor, going to Michael Waltrip is not going to work.
No.
Because what I understand, they're hitting the bushes now trying to find sponsorship. And
the way we understand it, there's what they have now may not be there next year.
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. It won't be there next year. But
now we're waiting on David Starr to call in.
Right.
And some people may recall, maybe I don't think I hit the start button or I didn't click it, the broadcast, but we recorded through the beginning, but they may not call it until Matt called in on the broadcast. So My fault on that one. But it should play on the show later.
Also today they announced the NASCAR next group for 2015, 2016.
Who's on the list?
Rico Abreu.
Oh, is that the little dude?
That's the little guy. He's one of
little person.
The guy we had on the show last week, Kyle Benjamin.
Oh, really? Good for him.
Kyle Benjamin. Nicole Bahar. She is running the West Series this year, and from what I understand, doing pretty decent. I mean, she hasn't won anything, but she's been running in the top 5, top 10 the whole season. James Bickford.
Don't know.
That is Jeff Gordon's cousin.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
From out on the West.
That's his stepfather's last name.
Yeah. William Byron, Junior Motorsports. He's the one that had the big wreck at the end of the Denny Hamlin race. And Cole Custer.
We know Cole. Cole's done it really. I'm telling you, that kid is a wheel man too. And I think he should. He made Martinsville very exciting, and I thought he should have won. Maybe not should have won, but I can't say I wouldn't have done the same thing.
Yeah. Ruben Garcia. Yeah, that's out of the NASCAR Mexican Series, I think, is what he's running with. Austin Hill.
Austin Hill sounds familiar. Right?
Austin Hill won some K&N races last year.
Okay.
And Jesse Little.
Well, I mean, if you don't know who Jesse Little is.
Dylan Lupton. But he was out on the West Coast for a long time. He came out here and he's been running
the trucks or something for Turner a couple years ago, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, his dad passed away or something. I remember some big deal about that.
John Hunter Nemechek.
He's a good kid. And I tell you, I think that kid, he's done really well in the truck series. A few races that I've seen him run, I think he's done pretty well for a little guy and very young. I don't think he's 16, maybe 17.
Yeah. Because he can't run the big races yet.
Right. And I don't even know if he can this year.
No, he can't this year. He's not.
So, I mean, and he's had some really good runs, and as well as Jesse Little. Jesse's going to make his start at Dover in a truck. Mm-hmm. And he's won a couple of races with the home K&N team. I don't know what kind of resources they have, but I don't think they have the resources some people may presume because he's Chad Little's son.
Right. It's
a little mom and pop thing, so I mean, you got to give it to him. He's done really well with the amount of resources he's had.
And the last guy is Dalton Sargent. Now, this kid's been running everywhere. I mean, he's ran a truck race. He's run on the East Coast. He's run on the West Coast, and he ran the Hamlin race the other night. Ran pretty good. Okay. He's run some late models, and I understand he's even ran some cars late models this year.
You think they'd call me and ask me to be on the NASCAR?
Well, I did. I saw that they may have an opening next year. But I don't think.
Do you know anybody think you can get me in?
The bad part about it is I don't think you meet the age criteria.
Well, wait a minute now. In mind, I might make it.
In your mind, you're right, but I don't think you're gonna make it otherwise. But
I mean, my wife says I'm pretty immature.
What wife doesn't say that?
I know yours does.
All right, we're not even in that conversation either. Leave that one alone.
Is David gonna stand us up again?
It looks like it's a good possibility.
We're going to get David.
This is the second time.
We're going to give him a hard time.
This is the second time we've had David lined up to come on the show. The first time there was a hurricane and he couldn't call. We gave him a little bit of a pass on that one. And then me and his PR lady, Jennifer Rhodes, who set this up. Hopefully we'll get all that straight.
Is he sponsored by Pepsi?
No, he's not. We're sponsored by Pepsi, but they're not sponsored by Pepsi. Hopefully, by the time the end of the year comes up, or this wall falls first, hopefully we'll have a banner up here.
That's a good one for the wall falls. We'll have the sponsors. What are we going to have up there?
Well, Pepsi Fun is going to be on there.
That's a good choice.
There's this place called Colonial Imports. Courthouse Imports. Courthouse Imports.
Yeah, they give us a place to use.
Miles Guttering.
Miles of Seamless Gutter.
I didn't know all that other stuff.
So if you need some gutters, they support us, so we want to thank those guys, or they support me, I should say.
Call from David Starr. Please answer or ignore.
Hello, Mr. Starr. How you doing, sir?
Man, I'm good. Y'all doing okay?
We're doing good. Glad we got you on the show finally.
Man, I'm glad to be on the show, man. Sorry I'm a little late.
That's not a problem at all. So how's everything going with you this year and things going on? I talked to you a little bit at Atlanta, and I tried to get a hold of you at Richmond, but you were kind of busy over there. But how's everything going with you?
Man, it's been a great season so far. You know, it's been a little bit up and down. We had a little bit of a bad run there at Richmond. But we just got back from Talladega this past Saturday, and then we thought we were going to have our 44 Toyota Camry up near the front when they dropped the checker flag, and I kind of stayed the last couple of laps, but it kind of got boxed in there, and we got out of there 14th. But, you know, all in all, it's been a not bad season. We're just working on our cars and take advantage of being involved with Toyota and their engineering side, and feel like we're going to get stronger and stronger as the year goes.
Well, I think you've shown that the team with the backing that you've got down there is doing great. I mean, you're coming along pretty good.
Man, we're excited. You know, there's some stuff, you know, some stout competition. You know, there's about, you know, just getting, you know, everybody racing the Nascar Xfinity Series is tough competitors, but you know, when you look at the Roger Penske team and the Richard Childress Racing team, the Dale Earnhardt Jr. team, and the Roush Racing, you really got some really heavy hitters in that series. And you know, to be able to beat those guys on a consistent basis, you're going to really have to be on top of your game. Everything's going to have to be perfect. And anytime we can finish in the top 10, we feel like it's a win for us. But you know, that's not good enough. But we're working hard at Starr to get to a level where those teams are. So we're excited about the future and working hard, and it's a tough series, and I'm just glad to be part of it.
And TriStar, I mean, you got a guy like Conley and Mike Bliss and yourself. I mean, there's a lot of resources there. I mean, as far as maybe not the money resources, but a lot of resources as far as experience and everything to pull from there. And I think, you know, it shows with how the performance is.
No doubt about it. Yeah, Mike Wilson, a good friend of mine, been a great competitor against him over the years, and to be teamed up with him this year has been a lot of fun. And we worked together last year some, and utilizing his experience and mine together, you know, I think we both benefit from it. And you know, having Kel Conley and Blake Cook on board with us this year at TriStar has really been a really good thing for all of us. You know, they're young, new drivers coming up to the NASCAR ranks, and you'll see them around for a long time. But they're learning, and they've done a great job too. And you know, when you got 4 teams working together, it's very beneficial for the whole organization. So I just feel like from this point forward, we're going to get stronger and stronger. And you know, we got our work cut out for you, because it's a tough series with some tough drivers and tough teams, and you really got to utilize the resources and all the tools you have, and having Toyota involved with us, and having the other teams with TriStar. You know, you got to take advantage of all of that to compete and be a competitor week in and week out in the series.
Well, you do a great job, even though you do have Greg Connor as your crew chief.
Greg's a good guy. You know, he's pretty passionate about it. I love it. He's got a lot of heart and soul. You know, he doesn't like to lose, and you know, I like working with people that have that same desire I have, and he's put a good team together. And Greg does a great job, and it's been a lot of fun working with him, and look forward to working with him more here over the next couple of years. And like I said, we're going to get stronger and stronger, and Greg brings a lot to the whole organization.
Well, David, I got to imagine, because you guys got a 3-year deal with the sponsor, is that correct?
We do got a 3-year deal, and that's really a blessing. It's just, you know, it's unbelievable. You know, obviously you can't race with the funding that it takes to compete at the level we compete at, and to have a sponsor like
Yeah, I imagine it's got to be great for the next couple of years for you to just have to worry about driving the race car and not have to be searching for sponsorship or funding. It's got to be much funner these next few years for you. And congratulations, because that's tough to do in today's marketing.
No doubt about it, and for other drivers out there listening, you do what you got to do. I love NASCAR, I love racing, and, last couple of years has been a little bit challenging for me, but, man, I work every day at it. I work at taking care of our sponsors and bringing new ones into the sport. But, it's nice to know that you can just focus on the racing 110%. And not that I did in the last couple of years, but, you got to have those partners to be able to have the funding to be able to compete at the level we compete at. So last year, I think we ran 16 races, and I was really fortunate that we got to do that with some great sponsors. And, from this year and for the next 3 years, to have Zachary construction company on board is just, it's just a dream. I'm very, very fortunate, very blessed to have him with us at TriStar and myself.
Yeah, it's a good thing. And, I noticed when I was in Atlanta and I spoke to you down there, you are very, very, you work well with the people around you. You're very charismatic with the people. You know how to talk to them. And you look like you're honestly enjoying everything that's going on. Where you don't see you see some of these guys that look like they're just fighting a war and they're just there and they really don't want to be bothered by it. But you seem to be enjoying it and you embrace all that.
Well, you have to understand, like most drivers in our country, I was just a little boy and used to Texas going to Meyer Speedway with my dad. He worked for a lot of Chris Orski's racing team with Bonnie Chalmers and Tony Denell Sr. But it's been a dream of mine since I can remember 3-4 years old. And when you live in a dream, you enjoy it. You know what I mean? There's no guarantees that you would make it at the level that we've been competing at. No guarantees. And when I made it to NASCAR, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, and had an opportunity to make a living, I love to do. I mean, I embrace all that. I love it. I love the sponsors. I love the people involved. I just love to compete, So, I got a great wife and 2 little boys, and, life's good, So, the fans, it's all about the race fans, the people at the racetrack. Without the fans and the people who attend the races, I wouldn't have the job I have. And I love to compete, even on a bad day. I'm still very fortunate, and you'll see a smile on my face just because I love being a part of this industry. I love how I make my living, and I'm very fortunate. So I love it all, man. It's wonderful.
Well, I'm glad you do, because you really have to love it to work with Greg. And I'm really hard on Greg. Greg and I are really good friends, and
according to Jack.
According to Greg, too. But I really like Greg, and I tease him all the time when we're down there. So it's really kind of cool to just aggravate him. But we're good friends, and I'm glad he's working with you, because he can really be a big benefit.
It's been great. Last year I think he worked with probably 9 or 10 different drivers, and to have that consistency, working with the same driver, same crew chief. Really, you do look forward. That's how you get better. That consistency, and you always change and working with new people. You can't ever build on people. So, last year when I did it for TriStar, I really hit it off with Greg, and he does a great job. Gives me a race car that I could hustle and race, and that's all you can ask for, And so he's a great crew chief, very knowledgeable, and like I said, he has a passion for it. And that's what you need to be a winner, So that's what I like about Greg.
That's exactly right.
Now, you guys' relationship, I'm not real sure about, but the way you work together is
Yeah, I've known him for a long time. Especially, I've known him since he was at the Wood Brothers. He was over at the Wood Brothers, and
right.
So we've gotten to know each other really good. My son, he was at my son's wedding, so we're really good friends, and I have to aggravate him. So. And I know he's going to be good.
Tell everybody knows from our life you gotta aggravate them.
That's exactly right.
You're right about that.
Well, David, we appreciate your time. We're going to have to get on out of here and get ready for another guest, but we appreciate your time. Hopefully we can get you back on here real soon, and good luck to you the rest of the year.
Yeah, maybe we'll come see you at Dover.
Well, thank y'all. I appreciate what y'all do for our sport, bringing the information and news up close personal with all the fans. So thank you to you guys. I look forward to seeing y'all on the racetrack soon, okay?
All right, man. We'll look you up in Dover. Hope we'll be there. Talk to you later.
Bye, man. Bye-bye.
What a nice. He is probably one of the most down-to-earth guys. I mean, he really is.
He was really funny at Atlanta. I walked up to him in Atlanta and I told him who I was, and he, oh, you're the guy I'm supposed to be on the show with. I said, yeah.
But he is always in a good mood. Whenever you see him, he's always in a very good mood, regardless how big. And it's big to have a 3-year sponsorship deal, and he can just concentrate on whatever you want to call it.
Pretty interesting that he can look at it and be like he is, be happy like he is.
Mm-hmm.
I think we had a little situation here.
Hello?
How you doing, Miss Cobb? How's everything?
Hey, things are great. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm sorry we had a little problem with the phone lines and we ran over with the last guest, so we kind of got a little tangled up.
Blame it on David Starr when you see him next.
Okay, I will do that. No problem at all.
Join us on the show now is Jennifer Jo Cobb, driving in the Camping World Truck Series, and it seems like you all haven't raced in a year. I mean, these breaks at the truck.
You're telling me I'm going crazy.
It's really weird how the schedule for the truck series is. I mean,
in the beginning of the year, it's kind of spread out, and then at the end, it's kind of bunched up.
Yeah, I mean, you did 2 races at the first 2 races, and then you skipped all the way to Martinsville, and then you don't race again until Kansas. That's tough.
It is, and you know, this year is the first year that Atlanta was back, so it was just 1 race, and then 6 weeks, and another race, and 6 weeks, and another race. And I tell you, we are wired, to do this stuff. We are wired to race and have this adrenaline and put up with what we put up with. And that being said, our wiring gets really messed up. In the meantime, as a driver, as a person, you just really, this is what we give up our whole lives for, to sacrifice and do this. And, so we want to race more and more and more. However, I'm going to say, from a team owner perspective, it is really kind of okay, because what happens is we operate, because we're a low-budget team with a lot of volunteers. And because of that, we're able to sort of vet our volunteers to say, listen, if you sort of make the cut, we'll hire you in May when the schedule starts ramping up. So our deal is structured where our crew chief can also drive our truck. And so he drives to Daytona. It's not that bad because it's just 7-8 hours down and back. And then he drives to Martinsville just a couple hours away. Then he drives to Atlanta just a few hours away. And then by May, we can actually go ahead and fill in with some full-time positions. So from a team owner standpoint, it becomes very palatable, because if we had this break in the middle of the season, May, June, July, that would be really hard to try to carry, because obviously we operate on race earnings and sponsorship. And you can't sell sponsorship when you're not racing, and obviously you don't get earnings. So everything that happens, I see it from the driver's standpoint, which is maddening when we're not on track, and the team owner standpoint, which, works best to sort of keep the business going. And if the business is going, then I'm driving, and that makes me very happy.
So is your operation in the Charlotte area?
Yes, we are in Lawrenceville, North Carolina, what they call the drive strip, or the Lawrenceville drive strip.
Right.
And it's my lifelong dream to bring it into like a kind of a first-class operation in Kansas City. I think that would be super cool. But yes, we're in Lawrenceville, North Carolina, which is pretty necessary, because, if we need a part, we run up to Circle Trek Warehouse or Roush Shoes Parts, we get our part, and you can't do that. It takes a lot of planning. The Furniture Row team, I don't know what they're called nowadays, if it's still that, but they're out of Denver, Colorado, and I've been really keeping an eye on them, because I think it would be cool to have big race teams in different cities around the country and not just centralized, but it definitely does help to have just all of those resources in one area.
Now, you're originally from the Kansas City area, right?
I am, and my career would not be possible if it weren't for Kansas City businesses. Like this weekend, Mark One Electric is on the truck. They've been our primary sponsor for over 11 races now. And Pizza Shop, which we do an appearance at, and they just have the most amazing pizza and kind of a childhood thing, you know, we all went there in high school, and so it's really cool to have Pizza Shop on the truck. Air Truck Sales is a national sponsor of ours that is actually based in Kansas City, so it's just really special for me because when the Kansas Speedway was built in 2001, I was in the basement of my parents' house working on my local car with my dad, you know, watching all the news stories. And I remember my dad saying to me, wow, I just see it in your eyes, you want to race there? And I'm like, heck yeah, I want to race there. And once I did, I really hung up the local stuff because I thought, I'm going to take all of this. I tell you what, hats off to all the local race car drivers because it takes as much time, energy, and money to race locally. And I think it does NASCAR sometimes, you know. And I just put all my effort and focus into racing full-time in NASCAR. And it took 7 years before I was able to go full-time. But eventually made that happen, and largely due to Kansas City businesses that supported me, even if it was once or twice a year at the Kansas Speedway. So it's a really special week for me.
The Kansas Speedway, and I've been lucky enough to go out there to that racetrack. I tell you, I love that area. I don't know. When I went out there, I stayed out there for like 5 days, and when I came back home, I told everybody I'm ready to move to Kansas City because I really like that area.
Absolutely. Now you know why I want to bring my racing here. I know. It is amazing. There's just something so special about it. And trust me, I can be a snob and a big city girl and all that good stuff, but I'm telling you, there is just something special about Kansas City. And the thing about the Kansas Speedway, it is probably closer to flat-out action than any other speedway. And I'm really trying to quickly go through my mind on any speedway in the country that is that close to a major downtown, that is that close to a great airport, that is that close to, you know, fine dining and entertainment as the Kansas Speedway is.
Well, the area right
20 minutes from downtown, you know?
But the area right there around the racetrack itself, I mean, you got the casino over there, you got all the stuff that has built up around that racetrack. It is amazing. I mean, you know, that all that is existing right there together. And it's all because the Kansas Speedway is the cornerstone.
Yeah, it was the cornerstone, and I lived it. I mean, I grew up, literally my parents' house is 2 exits south of the Kansas Speedway, and my house is 2 exits north of the Kansas Speedway. So I live literally 3 miles or less from the Kansas Speedway, and I lived there since 2003. And grew up 2 exits south of the Kansas Speedway. And so you're absolutely correct. I lived all of these changes, and the Kansas Speedway was the cornerstone. It was a huge impact for economics in this area, but also growth and development. And ever since then, I mean, we've had ups and downs, and we've seen things come in and out. But even like Starr has now built, and like you said, the Hollywood Casino, I mean, we're really starting to develop. And it's exciting from a community standpoint as well as a racing standpoint. And if it weren't for that, I, as a race car driver, wouldn't exist today because I was able to capitalize, leverage, and figure that out. And for me, it's very serendipitous. It's very, like, you know, kind of fate, and I've always had a strong belief in God and what I need to be in my life. And a lot of that has really propelled where I am today, being from this area. So I'm very grateful.
It's got to be hard to be an independent team like you have to try to compete with some of these other teams that you do. But you seem to, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but to me it seems like compared to last year, what little racing you've done this year, you look a little better. You seem like you're steadily progressing.
Well, that's the goal. You know, I believe in this concept called Kaizen, which is a Japanese word for this steady pursuit of getting better. Everything we do every day, every step forward, getting better. And that's always kind of been my belief. And in 2010, we bought equipment from the existing team, and we did okay. Our equipment was probably only 2 or 3 years old, and we did okay. And then every year after that, it suddenly got older, technology changed a lot, and we didn't have the funds to keep up with it. And then in 2013, very infamously, everything that we had was
by that was me every time we talked about it. And in just one season, turned it around in 2014 and had our best season ever, finishing 16th overall and being the last standing team without a DNF. And all the people that tried to hurt me did was empower me to show me what our team is capable of. That when you race with heart, you don't necessarily have to have a whole lot of money. When you race with heart, you can eat this. So really, 2014 was kind of our starting over point, because in 2013 we had nothing. We still had a lot of stuff. We got some equipment recently, and my crew chief, Steve Kirkendall, said, "Oh my gosh, I haven't had this since 2007. It's unreal, you know." So we're just, kind of, we're believers, we're dreamers. We want to be here. We want to be doing this. We're kind of for the love of the game, the love of the sport, and we don't have to have the approval of everybody, and we really do want to improve each and every week, and we had an awesome Daytona where we qualified, I think, 11th overall. So we're kind of kicking our spotter going, dude, because he pulled me out of the path times in the line where I might have been able to qualify higher up. And, so, we have a lot of mistakes, but we also have an all-volunteer pit crew and a lot of equipment that is very, very old and a lot of things that we lack. But at the end of the day, it makes me very proud of the people that are here because, not because they get paid big money to be here, but because they want to be here.
So what got you started into driving, Jennifer? Did your dad drive or somebody in your family?
Yes, I went to a racetrack when I was just 2 weeks old. My dad was on the pit crew for my cousin, Tom Carrick, in Kansas City. And when I was 3 years old, my dad, decided it was his time to race, and he started racing. And so from the time I was just, the infant, I was almost born at the racetrack. I've been running races. And I was 7 or 8 years old, and I said, hey, I want to be a race car driver, whatever. And it seems like I went my whole life hearing that, like, whatever. And I saw a quote one day, really young in life, it was from Waltz, and it said, it's kind of fun to do the impossible. And I loved that quote, because it seems like everything that everyone in my life, people told me it wasn't possible. And little by little, these things became possible, and that's when my faith really grew, because I thought, it's not a mistake that I was born and things have gone the way they've gone. And even the bad times, even the struggles, I feel like God, put me in a position to sort of overcome and to show that it can be done to overcome. And so that's kind of where my public speaking falls into place, where I don't mind sharing stories. I don't mind being very authentic about the struggles that we've been through. It's no pie in the sky, it's no smoke and mirrors. I mean, it's rough and tough. But he's always given me what I needed to overcome and get through it. And I'm just always kind of dreaming one step further. For, you accomplish something and you dream a little bit bigger,
Well, I know you're glad to be able to race in Kansas this weekend. I can't wait to see you out there too, because I think you're gonna have a good race out there in Kansas City.
I appreciate it. We finished 13th last year, so we're like, holy cow, the bar set kind of high. We need the top 10 this year.
Well, you might very well get it there, because you seem to. Well, I was out there a couple years ago. You seem to enjoy that area, and that makes you even drive a little harder when you get into it.
It just gives you confidence.
There's no place like home.
Right.
And now, did I not? I think, and if I'm speaking out of turn, you go ahead and tell me shut up. But
shut up.
No, I didn't tell you. I was talking to her. Did I understand you're getting ready to get married?
I am.
Congratulations.
Nothing wrong with bringing that up. I am very happy to be getting married for the first time on 10/10/2015 in Kansas City to Eddie Trakamis. Eddie is a lead engineer for Cobb Motorsports, and he's originally from Mexico City, and our lives are just crazy and exciting and fun and just so full of love. And he's been with me through some of the darkest times, and I'm telling you, when someone's been with you through the good and the bad, I mean, it's just amazing. And I've never felt so sure about anything in my life. Very excited to be getting married in Kansas City. And the funny thing is, I'm going to be the race alliance at the Xfinity race at the Kansas Speedway, because Mark One Electric always supports me at that race as well as the Camping World Truck Series race. So I don't know if you Kansas Speedway or in other words, first until January, we'll go to the Bahamas.
Well, congratulations. I thought I read that somewhere. Congratulations. I hope everything goes extremely well, and I hope this year turns out really extremely well for you too.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much.
And hopefully we'll get you back on here again real soon and be talking about a win or something like that to really bring it along. And then we'll even bring you back after you get married.
That would be awesome. Well, just a couple of parting notes. Mark One Electric is on Facebook, so please search out Mark One Electric on Facebook and give them a like and a shout out for supporting us all these years. And Pizza Shop is Thursday night appearance from 7 to 8 p.m. and we'll have apparel that we sell and we'd love to see everybody. And of course, we're celebrating our 100th NASCAR Camping World Truck Series start at Texas Rookie Week. So we're going to start celebrating that with some special autograph cards this weekend.
Oh, very good. All right. Well, we hope everything goes well. Good luck to you this weekend in Kansas City, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate your time.
Okay, bye-bye.
You know, I didn't say I'd forgot about her losing all of her equipment. I mean, that's another whole big story. I didn't want to.
Yeah, I wasn't going to ask about it.
But you got to give it to her for continuing, because it would have been very easy to
Throw the
just
towel in and say, that's it, I'm done.
Yeah, because she didn't have anything after that. I mean, people loaned her a lot of stuff, and she worked through it, and kudos to her.
Where was the track at? She showed up at the track.
Oh, and they took her the crew vehicle or something, wasn't it?
Well, no, that's another story. But she showed up at the track after all this had happened, and she had a trailer that it was wasn't a regular covered trailer.
Right,
It
was just a standard.
They brought it in. She raced it. I mean, some people would have said, "The hell with this! I'm giving this up. This ain't worth all this."
And a crew chief hanging in with her, and a lot of volunteer crews. So, I mean, if you're a crew member out there, there's a lot of these low-budget teams that you could volunteer on and gain some experience and get to know some people. They are out there. You just got to contact them.
And a lot of them, would love to have the help. If you have some kind of special thing that you can do, they really look into that. Morgan Shepherd, I talked to him a couple years ago, and at that point in time, I think Childress had his pit crew fit his car, so he did need a pit crew, but he needed somebody to be at the shop. Well, I couldn't be at the shop, but I told him, I said, look, I'll come to the racetrack and.
Yeah, and they're a little particular. They want to make sure that you're legit.
That's right.
There is a lot of, you are representing them, and there is a drug test. So, I mean, it's not, they just ain't going to hand you a license for nobody. And it's expensive to invest in a license for somebody. But they are out there. Like Jennifer, like I said, they have a lot of volunteer. And there's a lot of those teams are a lot of volunteer crew members.
Yeah.
That do a lot of stuff, and there's only like 3 or 4 guys that go racetrack to racetrack, and the rest of them just come and volunteer. And it's tough. I helped a nationwide team there for 2 years, and I was one of the volunteer guys, and I think they had 3 guys that went to race. One was the engine tuner, and crew chief, and car chief, and man, we didn't have anything. I mean, our cars were 2000, 2001, and they were 10 years old.
Well, she's done well with little or nothing, and of course, a lot of people
kind of an understatement.
A lot of people say, "Oh, she should be doing this and she should be doing that," but if you don't have the money, you can't do everything. But then, if you can, like she said last year, finish 13th at Kansas,
that's pretty big. With the stuff that she has.
So I mean, it's
the teams that she's running against.
Right, very much so. Well, that's a night. That's our wrap for tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining in with us tonight on this show. Sorry for the little mix-up there, but hey, if that's the only mix-up we had, we're good.
Worked out.
Go to our YouTube site. Like the
videos.
The show, the videos, and everything there. Like the show.
Watch them, please.
Yeah, watch them. We're not saying
watch them. Just turn it on and let it play.
And John Medeiros, I know you're watching. I really appreciate everything you said to me one night when we were talking about it.
He didn't suggest get rid of me, did he?
And I really appreciate No, he didn't say anything about getting rid of him. But I mean, it's really nice that I know he's going to watch because he tells me every week I'm going to watch the show.
Yeah. He loves listening to us.
So hopefully, John, if you're listening, come on down and come hang out with us one night. We'd be glad to have you down here with us. Give us a call one night and come on and talk to us. And we appreciate you being a faithful follower.
I'm sure we'll have his son on. His son races arena, and we'll have him on. So talk to him a little more about that.
Hopefully, I guess we'll have to call Matt Waltz our Langley Speedway segment this week.
Yeah.
But hopefully we're going to Langley this weekend. We're going to hopefully get all that set up this weekend. I've made a couple calls, haven't got any answers back yet, but we're going to try to expand that Langley Speedway segment to where we'll have one guy from Langley every week just for Langley Speedway. And
go support your local short track.
Oh, yeah. And hopefully, I'm going to let you in on a little bit next week. Greg Edwards is going to be with us next week. He said he'd call in here next week. Macy Causey.
So 2 people from Langley Speedway.
2 people next week from Langley Speedway. CJ Faison, who just got a truck ride with Premier Motorsports. Jay Robinson. That's Jay Robinson's truck team.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So that's he's gonna be with us next week. And if I can push it off later on instead of overloading everybody next week, I've got Kathy Rice from South Boston Speedway wanting to come on too. So hopefully we can get that taken.
She's doing a great job out there and she's been out there a long time.
Right.
And Bill gave her a shout out. Bill Mullis from Langley Speedway was here. She helped him a lot in the beginning about Langley Speedway because he didn't know what he was getting into. But I'm glad Bill is at Langley Speedway, and I hope he acquires the racetrack and moves forward because I really don't know where it would be without Bill Mullis.
So any of you folks that are at Langley Speedway this weekend, you see us walking around Langley Speedway, come up and talk to us.
Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
I will be there, and I'm sure he'll be around me somewhere.
We're like twins, Danny DeVito.
But I don't
Schwarzenegger.
I don't hang around with his. I try to. This is
you'll see him at the food counter.
I don't go to the food counter that much. Eat Martinsville hot dogs. I ain't gonna.
No, Langley's got good food in their concession stand.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
they do. They have Bojangles chicken there.
Oh, okay.
That's about one of the only racetracks you can get seafood. They have shrimp. You can get, if nobody's ever, I haven't tried it yet, but everybody talks about the redneck fries or the dirty fries. I can't remember which one it is, but it's French fries, barbecue, and cheese, I think. Or they might even put chili on it. But people out there, they tell us, man, you got to try it. I haven't tried it yet. They usually get the chicken or the shrimp.
Yeah, well,
the chicken strips.
They
have really good food.
I'll be with you. You'd have to show me
and it's not that expensive for going to a racetrack where you're going to pay generally more at a big event.
So, all right. Well, hopefully we'll see some of you folks out at Langley Speedway this weekend.
Good sweet tea. And don't get a cup. Get a gallon, and they'll give you a cup of ice for the half gallon.
Here we go with the food. Here we go with the food.
Hey, man. Now we got to start. I like to eat.
Okay. All right. Well, we appreciate your time tonight. Thanks for showing up with us there to be a part of it, and we'll see you again next week.